But we have to.
Different model. That's an interesting model that emerged. So I just a little comment. There's just there's very recent call for the papers to fill the gap between those two practices of contemporary art and media art practices. It just was yesterday a call by Edgar Schmitz, who is actually teaching at UFA in Amsterdam, but the thing is going to happen in New York, I don't know where, and in Art Basel, where he's going to have a conversation with several curators from, let's say, both sides to and trying to formulate and maybe create some hybrid discourses that could help both sides, I guess.
Last question. First, I've got another question from the audience. Please speak up.
We're just talking around a lot of things, but nobody's talking directly. We talk about journalism education, but we know that in contemporary art, for creator or artists, they don't have the time to go in education because if they will go out to marketing. So everyone knows it. So if you look last 10 years, I mean, there is so many curator or artist created it's like this, like a mushroom, and you know, and they are all over the places, and I follow here and there, and I come across this country and that country, and it can be hyped and directing the, you know, this is artwork, and everyone is like imitating, especially the this like a new generation. Now this is like art become is like actually nowhere, and now we're talking about new marketing, and it's like art going dedication. That's like bullshit, because nobody has time. Is that true or not? Why you are like going around and talking about these things? I don't understand.
The question is, where is the art? Something along those lines. The proliferation of...
No, I think the suggestion is that there isn't enough time for artists and curators to engage in their own education. Is that what you're saying?
Like voting table, I think they are creative. Yeah, they don't have their own education at this moment. I mean, this is like, if you look, this is like a politic, who's supporting which institution and which institution, which creating which curator and which artist, and what they are doing in which country, and if you look at how they grow up, this is from all the way east to China, and then now they are like operating in the Middle East, and you are still talking about these things, and I mean, there is literally like a cultural coordination going on, and we're talking about these things. Nobody's like talking direct things, you know. It's like preaching.
Obviously, I disagree. The grounds of my disagreement. Well, I think I disagree that you can legislate for me what I should thematize in my conversation. I think you can challenge me and say, why are you talking about this, why don't you talk about that? But automatically you're caught up in challenge.
It's short. You've had enough time, so very short.
I wish to ask a question nice way, but I'm not able to ask nice way. So.
But I think it is worth having this conversation among other conversations. And the reason I think it's worth having this conversation among other conversations is because I think this is about attempting, one of the ways in which people are attempting to rethink the possibility of agency, not as personal agency, but as multiple agency, and particularly collective agency. The possibility that people might achieve the construction of meaning intersubjectively in a way that is not foreclosed by a particular institutional setting. I'm not saying it's absolutely delivered and honoured in every instance. I'm saying that that's an interesting ambition, and there are very few spaces where that kind of ambition is playing out in this world that you described as colonised by a singular dominant logic. But that dominant logic is the logic of capital, and it is singularly unchallenged. And I think these are fragmentary hints of the possibility of challenging that. And I think they're very modest things, but they're worth seizing upon and attending to. I think this, obviously,
Thanks, Mick. We just have time for one last question.
Well, I would just, I very much appreciated Mick Wilson's point and this idea of in wondering if some texts discuss more specifically the question of audience or other participants than artists and curators. Because if it's only artists and curators educating one another in the emancipated spectator concierge way, okay, that's fine. But in fact, in the audience, you have other people who are inevitably in all these projects. They call upon audiences who are not artists or curators. And I wonder if there is space of discussion around, any kind of relation to an audience. And of course, I was interested in the French context and the difficulty of finding an audience in relation to different traditions and the performative discourse existing there. That was my